יפה. תצפי בלינק הזה. זה אני בלינק. מה? כן, יכול להיות שזה בגלל האינטרנט. בריאות יפה. לא נפתח?
Shanghai GDG is a very interesting developer community.
I'm glad somebody has
out there would like to ask questions.
Morning, everyone. This is Jarek Wilkiewicz, Google Developer Live. We have in the studio Jeremy Walker. Yes. Hello. How are you doing, Jeremy? We have in the studio Jeremy Walker. Yes. Hello. How are you doing, Jeremy?
Pretty good. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. Trying to wake up this morning. Still a little early. On the Hangout, we have Jeffrey Posnick joining us live from New York City. How's live in New York, Jeff?
3 hours later, so I'm fully woken up and post-lunch and ready to go.
All right, great. And today, JJ...
יפה שיש זמן לעבוד קצת. את מכינה אוכל או שזה מהשכנים הריח הזה? ריח של רוטב עגבניות מגיע מהשכנים, נכון? יפה, זה מגיע קצת כמו רוטב עגבניות של סמאלי. יפה.
צריך לעבוד.
אני גם חוזר. אני הולך לעשן ולעבוד. ואז אחרי זה נעשה יוגה?
Welcome to Learning the YouTube APIs in 10 minutes. I'm your host, Jeremy Walker. I'm a YouTube developer advocate. Let's get started. I'm first going to talk to you about the Analytics API itself, and then I'm going to talk to you about defining a report and taking that information and testing your report so you can basically get an idea of if it's working or not. And then from there, we'll take that information and quickly move it into some code. Now, the first 3 sections doesn't matter what language you're using. The last section I will use Java, but you can see from the end of it when you actually go through it, you could apply this to any language you want to go with. So the YouTube Analytics API, if you're used to YouTube, you know that there's a bunch of data and we provide an analytics window where you can get a lot of that in a dashboard. But you may want to mash up those reports in different ways or combine it with other data or even automate processes to handle that data. And we let you do that through our API. It's a HTTP RESTful API. So we provide 9 libraries so you can pick the library that fits your language. We also have a lot of examples, so you don't have to write code from scratch. You can just grab ours and kind of read and tinker with it a little bit to fit your needs. So let's get started and define your report. So there's two types of reports you can get. You have channel and a content owner report. Today we're going to cover channel report, which is basically just getting the information just for a specific channel. There's also for partners who have multiple channels, they can do a content owner report where they can get information on one of their channels or all their channels and kind of bundle it together. I will be giving a talk on that at I/O Chat as well, if you're interested. But again, this presentation here actually applies to both, so I would definitely recommend going through this and then jumping to that. So when you start with a report, after you've decided on whether it's going to be a channel report or a content owner report, now you have to decide, okay, what information do I need? And that's where the big three come into play. So there's metrics, which are the most important one. Those are going to be any sort of activity or user activity that we record. So views, likes, uniques, subscribers added, lost, all that great stuff. So that's kind of the metric you're looking for. Well, metric, of course. And then we kind of bundle those together in what are called dimensions. So when you get views, you have to get a dimension on it. So you can decide on you want it by days, or you want it by week or month, or maybe you want it by country. So we give you a bunch of those options so you can kind of bundle it how you want. Now, if you don't want all that information and you want to filter it a little bit, we have filters. So you can, for instance, if you want views and you take them by country, but maybe you're only interested in Japan, then you can set a filter to only get Japan. And after you come up with the metrics and dimensions and possible filter you want, then you're going to want to look at it's labeled available reports. And I can show that to you right here. So if you just search for the YouTube Analytics API, this will be what comes up. And under reports, because you have to choose one, you can choose channel reports, which is what I'm doing here. And you can see available reports. So what this is it's a bunch of information about what metrics and dimensions work with each other. Because you can't just throw them all together and hope it'll work. There's only certain reports that'll work with each other. So you have to kind of go through this and make sure it's working. So in this case, I'm actually going to look at just getting the views. Now you can use, I can views, comments, favorites added, great stuff, and then I can do it on dimension by day, 7-day total, month. I'm actually going to show you an example in month. But you can combine those two, and then on the right, you can filter it either by country or by video, which is the video ID, and then from there by country if you choose to do those. So again, you kind of put your report together, get a rough idea with the big three, and then you look at the available reports for your either the content owner or channel, in our case channel, and you kind of decide what you want to do from there. So now that you kind of got the report you want, or possibly reports you want, the next step is to go to the API Explorer. Now this is a really, really powerful tool that's available on our website that basically lets you run reports without writing any code, including authorization. So because with the Analytics API, you do have to authorize. This is really important because you get the report working and in great shape before you go to the code. I see a lot of people who start writing code and they say they're having problems when it's just that they never had a proper report to begin with. So always start with this as a best practice. And how this works is you just search YouTube Analytics API and this will come up. And if you go to the reference link, you'll see we have some great information. Again, this is a RESTful API, so if you don't want to use our libraries and you want to just use construct the URLs yourself, you can do that. We list all the parameters, and then we even provide some examples in Python, JavaScript, and Java and Ruby, and then we have some more libraries beyond that. But at the bottom of the page is this API Explorer, is what we call it. And so this is where you can try out your reports before you dive into code. So you can see in the right here, there's this authorized request. I just hit that I want to authorize that. And then now it's authorized. So now I can run requests as if I'd gone through the whole OAuth 2 process, which actually is done on the background. So let's get started. So you can see at the bottom here, we have metrics, dimensions, filters, which are the big three I'm talking about. You can see above that start date and end date. It's pretty self-explanatory. But at the top, you can see, and this is what you actually use to specify which channel report you want. So do you want a channel report or a content owner report? If you're doing a content owner you just type in content owner double equals and then your content owner ID. But in this case, we're doing a channel report, so you just do channel equal, and then you'll do your channel ID. Now, you're probably not going to know your channel ID. Most people don't. It's this long string with a bunch of numbers and letters. So that actually you have to get from the data API. So we have another API that's part of the YouTube API family, which is called the data API. And this lets you do most everything you can do on YouTube. And one of those things is to get information on your own channel. So we're going to actually do that. And if you just search for the YouTube data API, it'll be the first thing that comes up. It's also in the same area as the analytics API. But here you see V3 comes up. And if you expand the reference, you'll see there's a channel. And I actually want the list function. So
איפה את חזרה?
לא.
בטוח? בטוחה? בטוחס? כן, בטוחס? בסדר. סבבה. מה?
לפעמים נראה לי עוד בטיח יותר מאוחר.
כן. אוקיי. גם בטוחס. אוקיי, שמתי את הגרבי גרמניה שלי. אני יוצא החוצה. עם ה... איפה האוזניים שלי? יש קר, כאילו אני שמתי לך מזגן, וכמה שמתי לך. איפה?